Erased matriarchy. Unearthing the history of female power. Marriage seems like a fixed point in history. You find a partner, you sign a contract, and you stay together until one of you dies. We assume that's just how it's always been done. Right, traditional values. But here on Erased Matriarchy, we know tradition is often just a nice word for history written by the winners. Let's look at Ireland in the 10th century. Under the native legal system known as Brehon Law, there wasn't just one way to get married. How many were there? 9. There were 9 different types of marriage. 9? Like open relationships? Not exactly. It was about economics and power. The laws recognized that people bring different things to a union. So you had a marriage of equal goods where both parties had equal status. But you also had marriages where the woman brought more property than the man. In those cases, she was the legal head of the household. Wait, so the husband had to listen to her? Legally, yes. She controlled the finances. And it gets more interesting. Divorce was completely legal and socially acceptable for women.
That sounds surprisingly modern.
It was pragmatic. A woman could divorce her husband for specific codified reasons. If he was physically abusive, divorce. If he failed to support her financially, divorce. Even if he was just bad in bed. Or, to be precise, if he couldn't perform his duties or left her bed warm to go off warring for too long. Wow. Okay. She could leave. And crucially, she took her property with her. She didn't lose her wealth just because the marriage ended. She remained a distinct legal person. So what happened? Because that is definitely not the history I learned in school. The erasure happened. It started with the Anglo-Norman invasion, but the final blow came in the 1600s, the complete conquest of Ireland by the English crown. They viewed Brehon Law as lewd and barbaric. They wanted to impose English common law. And what did that change? Everything. Under English common law, they introduced a concept called coverture. It stated that upon marriage, a man and a woman became one person.
That sounds romantic.
It wasn't. Because that one person was the husband. The woman suffered what was called civil death. She could not own property, she could not sign contracts, and she certainly couldn't divorce him just because he was terrible. She became property herself. Exactly. The English crown systematically dismantled the Brehon judges, burned the texts, and enforced this new patriarchy at the point of a sword. It wasn't a cultural drift, it was a demolition. That is terrifying. It is. And that is the takeaway. When people talk about traditional marriage today, they aren't talking about the partnership of equals that existed for centuries in Ireland. They are talking about a colonial tool invented to turn women into subjects. We didn't evolve into the nuclear family. We were forced there.
Ignite your muse with drops of inspiration. Search Musedrops.